Hey, it's Eli, aka Atlas. Have you ever looked at a picture from your favorite artist, like Jim Lee or Marc Silvestri, for example, and wondered what all those random lines everywhere and on everything are even for? Well, let me explain. While I can't actually speak for Lee or Silvestri, I too have been asked on occasion what all the pointillism and scratches are for, and I personally call these accent lines. Accent lines can be used for anything and everything and don't even have to be lines. They can be dots or even curves. And these can be used to create all kinds of effects from stress to tension to speed to texture. Take J.V. Jones here from Pirates of the Caribbean. I did this picture back in 2015 for day 27 of the Inktober event. He wears a pretty big hat, which is heavily encrusted, almost sculpted, with barnacles, coral, pearls, and shells. To speed up the process of creating texture without cross-hatching the life out of it, I use dots of various sizes to not only create a unique type of texture, but also form and shape. As you can see here, we've got dots to almost indicate the curve of the hat, and on the back to almost act as a gradient, along with all of the random, well, not random, barnacles, holes, and texture on the hat. Take the bottom areas of the picture, which almost fade to black. I use lots of cross-hatching here to indicate depth, since his arm is in the background and inside of his coat. So the lines, as you can see, aren't as random as they look. And again, I do the same thing on his belt to indicate a type of texture. How to use accent lines on skin. This picture looks busy and can almost look intimidating if you don't know what's happening. But if you look closely, it's quite easy to figure out. On his arms, for example, you can see between the crook of his elbow there are lines running up his biceps. Right here. And this is a vein for vascularity. These emulate the skin as it folds and stretches, which you can see if you extend and retract your own arm. The lines around his chin indicate shadows forming under the skin that's puffing out under his mouth due to the expression he's making. Right here. And now that we know why we use these, we can experiment with lines and dots and curves together to indicate shapes and make expressions. Take Patriot of the Young Avengers here. He's clearly shouting and looking generally intense. One thing you'll often hear from professionals is not to over-render the faces of younger characters. Occasionally you'll need to break that rule, but only if you know what effect you're going for. Here, to avoid making a straight line down his mouth to indicate a stretch, I broke up the crease with dots and lines on both sides of his mouth, as you can see right here, and on the opposite side as well. His eyebrows are furrowed under his mask, so we can see the skin of his brow poking out from above it. If I'd made the lines of it totally solid, they could have been mistaken for eyebrows themselves. By making stripes out of wrinkles, we've created tight, living, visually interesting skin. So that will be all for today's lesson. Some of you are probably saying, what about rendering leather and spandex and all the lines used on their costumes? Well, I will get to that in full detail in another video outside of the Rule of Thumb series, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff on all the social media you are a part of. I'll have the links in the description box below, so you can follow me on my Facebook, my Tumblr, all that type of stuff. Also, make sure you leave some suggestions in the comments below on what type of video you'd like to see from me next. Thanks for watching.
So